We're at the top of the hour here, so thanks everyone for joining Jassie's webinar series. For those that don't know me, I'm James Gibson. I'm one of the solutions account managers here at Jassy. Today's webinar is going to be about some new functionality in Jassy, which is our yard management system, which we're quite proud to start releasing out to the industry. I know we're joined here with Joe as well. Joe, would you like to make an introduction to everyone here?
Yeah, hey everybody, I'm Joe. I'm our Director of Solution Sales, and today I'll be bringing us through a yard management demonstration in JASCI. A lot of you know JASCI likes to include as much software as possible. In addition to the WMS, we have labor management, we have yard management, we've got a shipping platform. So today we're going to be talking about one of those extra arms that we have, and we're excited to show you.
Perfect. So Joe, I'll stop sharing. I'll hand things over to you, and if there's any questions in the chat, I'll let you know.
Yep, let me share. Okay, is that showing?
Yes, I can see that.
Okay, perfect. Today we're going to be showing kind of the an example walkthrough of the use of our yard management system. There's kind of a few different elements to this. There's going to be the dock appointments, which is going to be your calendar system of your inbound and outbound appointments. So we'll show that first, and then we'll go into the actual yard management flows. So we can mark appointments as arrived. We can mark them as departing. We can also do yard moves, and we'll show you our yard manager screen, which will basically give you all the visibility to your yard locations, what's actively in the yard, any moves that you want to generate. It's kind of a control tower for that. Let's go ahead and start with just the beginning. We're in an environment here. We're just gonna guide to the dock appointments, make sure that we have one. Um, so we're gonna go to the dock appointment screen. Now on here we could see that we actually do have some appointments. We have a ABF truck, ABF freight that we expect to arrive. Actually, that already has arrived because you could see this one is color coded. Pink means that it has been marked as arrived. The DHL one that I have my mouse over right now, that is actually one that is scheduled to arrive, and the window that it's scheduled to arrive is the length of the block. So we're almost late according to our window, and since it's in that time frame, that's why it's red. So there's different color coding. You can also have these appointments start flashing as well. That's all set in the preference button that you see here on the screen. And then the green bars that are going across from left to right, that's going to represent your available dock schedule for each one of your dock doors, or maybe you treat it as groups of doors for because you're going to do more granular yard moves once you're inside of there. Um, but the green, so this example, this company, they have it 24/7. So they have the schedule just available at all times. That's why the bars are entirely green. Now I'm going to switch into the software for just a moment in my demo environment and show you another example of a calendar. Here you could see I have various times that these dock doors are open. Some start at 4, some start at 6. I've set this up for a cold storage facility, so you can see frozen is F, cold is C, ambient is A, in case there's doors that are, corresponding to those temperature zones. But you could see if we'd like to add an appointment, we can either interface them in through and get the data right into JASCI, or you could use this screen where we can click on the door that we want to schedule an appointment for and hit select. And this is going to bring us to where we can enter the time that we expect it. If there's a particular carrier, we can select it from our list of carriers that we have. For 3PLs, they can select which company it's for. You can also include additional information that's helpful for the inbound or outbound team. So you could say, if there's an audit required, the number of pallets or cases they're expecting, if there's any kind of special equipment or a certain type of freight where you have certain team members or certain processes that are required for it. So this is going to be where you could set up that information to view down the road. And again, all of this information can be interfaced in via API or with a data upload. This is also an area that you can have tied to a portal. So if you want to give portal access to like an external user that might want to schedule appointments, you have the ability to do that as well. So coming back to our kind of main move through here, we see that we have one to mark as arrived. So we're going to go into our mobile flow that we call the YMS gate. And this is for inbound and outbound appointments to mark them as arrived or departed. So you can see on the screen here, we have that appointment, that one we saw on the screen for DHL is the one that's showing here. But we also have some buttons down below. So this screen, this can be loaded on a mobile device where it's much smaller, not as wide as we see it now. It could be on a tablet, it could be on a full screen. It depends on, when and how you're going to be marking these appointments as arrived or departed. And you can see the buttons down at the bottom. We can hit, we can say that this one's arriving. We can also search, or we can choose to hit that there's no appointment. And if there's no appointment, then that's going to allow us to create one on the fly here from this mobile device. So we're going to mark this one as arrived, and when we do so, it's then going to have us verify additional information. You can either have this as a confirmation of the information that was already there from the appointment, or you can have them, enter it in here, or you can have them skip it if you don't want to have this step and you really just want to mark a specific trailer that's tied to a PO or a pro number or an ASN. You could just capture that information. But here I'm just quickly going through and entering all of the information. You can even track the license and the name of the driver, the trailer, in case you need that information to confirm it on the outbound, or maybe you need to populate that data somewhere for your for the rest of your team. So after we've entered all of this information and hit update, it's going to bring us back to our main screen where we can see we have no more appointments today on the inbound. So it's telling us that now if there are more appointments created, when we load this screen, we're going to be able to see them there. And if there's more than one, then you'll have a scroll wheel where you can scroll through the various appointments. You also have the ability, as I mentioned before, to search by appointment, whether that's the carrier, the company, and other information tied to the appointment. So now that we've marked it as arrived, what we're going to do is go back to our full screen, and this time we're going to go into our back to our dock appointments. We can see that we've now that we've marked it as arrived, it's now showing as pink, so it's got its color change based on what we see, and we can view any of those details that we just confirmed. Um, so in here, I'm actually going to copy the tracking number because this tracking number is going to come in handy down the road as we come here to our yard management control tower. You can see that you can search across your yard by zone, by location. You can see how many are open. You can see how many have activity at them. So this is kind of your main control screen. If you have many yard locations, as you can see here, we just only have a few of them populated in this test environment. But here's how you can use this yard manager to click and drag, or click and enter that you want to assign a trailer or edit the yard location. So here we're going to assign that new trailer that just came in to a yard location. Now, this customer in particular, they do the assigning the yard location after the check-in because they actually have their own internal drivers that will go and they'll move it from the main area that they checked it into to its actual yard location. And the drivers that drop off those trailers, they'll end up leaving. Most of the time, they'll leave with an outbound trailer that they're picking up. Um, but here is how you can choose if you're going to have yard locations assigned. You can also create yard moves as well. So here we could say, we're going to move this trailer that we just assigned to another location. So when we click that button, it's then going to create the path. You can actually see the arrow right here to the location we just selected. So we selected the location we assigned that trailer to, and now we're saying we want to move it to a different location. So this would be in the event that you need to clear that space for another truck that's coming in, or maybe it was initially assigned to the wrong area. Whatever it may be, this is how you can coordinate your yard moves. So now to actually perform that yard move, we're going to go into the yard move workflow. And here's where we have the confirm. So you can actually, it's system directed, and you have the opportunity. I'll go back just a moment. You can see here to decline. So if there's multiple yard moves that need to be performed, you can hit decline and move on to the next one. And then that decline, you can also give a reason of why you're skipping that or declining that yard move. And you can set up what the reasons are for that that they choose from the drop down. But here we're going to pick up that we're confirming to pick it up from the yard location it's in, and we're then going to move it to its next location. So to do that, we're going to hit move done, or we can actually override by hitting that new location button. And then if we just come back here just for a moment to look, once we click that, you'll have a recheck because it's telling us we have no more yard moves. So that recheck is basically going to refresh and see if the yard manager created any more yard moves that we need to perform. Um, so now if we come back to our yard manager and we're going to refresh and look at the screen, we now see that one that we had the arrow driving to now has this appointment within it. Or I'm sorry, this trailer within that new yard location. Um, so you can see the tracking number as well. So that was kind of a simple overview of JASCI's Yard Manager. We talked about at the beginning, we talked about the dock appointments. You could set up these dock appointments for inbound and outbound. The dock appointments can have the a schedule tied to each dock. That way you have kind of an acceptable range for when trailers can be assigned. Some of our customers, they choose to give access to that dock appointment scheduler by for portals for like carriers for customers to be able to book things. That not everyone chooses to do that, but sometimes you want to give external access to be able to create appointments. Um, and then once you have those appointments, we have a mobile flow called the gate check-in, and that's also for your outbound. So you have in and out, and you're basically confirming the appointments that are on the calendar from the mobile device and adding or editing any of the information tied to that appointment from that mobile device. Um, in addition to the appointment calendar, there's also this yard manager, which we just showed. And that yard manager is how you can view all of your yard locations, the data of the trailers that are within them, and create your yard moves, which those yard moves are ultimately performed by the mobile device. We have a mobile flow for yard moves. So that's just one example of how YMS is used within JASCI. This can also correspond to the data that you have for your receiving or your picking, loading, and shipping. If you want it to rely on these yard moves as well, and arrivals and departures as well, we can link it to that. Some people like to keep it kind of more separate, like a calendar system. And That's what we wanted to go over today about the yard management. Now, I did want to bring up this is probably going to be our last webinar that we do out of this main JASCI program. Some of you may know this already, but we are launching a new product line from JASCI, which is going to be a much more upgraded user experience, which we are very eager to show. And we'll be having some webinars about the introduction to this new platform very, very soon. There's a better user experience as far as the mobile flows, the full screens, the reporting is upgraded. It's fully lined with AI throughout the platform. So we're very eager to show you how that all works and some of the things that we've added to our features and functionality with this new platform.
Thanks, Joe. I appreciate you taking us through that. If
Yep.
anyone has any questions or questions that come up in the next day or so, feel free to reach out to us via the website or if you have our emails, please do as well. Yeah, like Joe mentioned, we'll be doing a lot more webinars on the new Phoenix software that's coming out shortly. So stay tuned for those.